We'll connect to breath. Align the center of head over the center of heart. Over the center of pelvis. And this will be that perineal and that coccyx area that we've been discussing lately. This core that we start orienting around in our practice is a vertical, slender space that sits just in front of the spine. If it's not accessible viscerally or conceptually, if there's something that just gets in the way of suggesting to us that there could be a space in the body, just go with the spine. The spine will get us plenty of wonderful benefits. And then start to thread and spread your breath in and through this core. And this is key, as breath helps make these locales visceral, felt. So we'll do an alternate nostril breathing, and there won't be too much hold, so we'll be inhaling, lingering, exhaling, and for right now, no count necessary, but let's just begin with left hand. And this way we begin our inhale through the right nostril, inhaling. Place the ring finger down. Lift the thumb up. Exhale out the left. Okay. So as we're getting started, there's the holding the hand to the face. Let me give us some details. Inhaling through the left. Thumb goes down. Ring finger lifts. Exhale out the right. Head remains, we'll say, on center. The center of the head still over the center of the heart. Bring the hand up to the face rather than let the face come down to the hand. Bring the hand all the way up to the face and maintain that sense of vertical through the body and the neck and the head. That is our core also. And one more detail. Relax the left elbow down. And try to find as much softness in all the hands that you have, in all the shoulders, and in all of the arm limb and arm joints that you can sense. Finish the one that you're on. When you're through, let's set the right leg out, straightened, and the left knee bent, foot in front of pelvis. It's possible you'll want a strap for this setup, but let's find out. Okay, so at first, left hand is hook onto the outer thigh. And as you're inhaling, let this hand pull and just beginning a turn of the chest. That would be to our right. You could use the right hand to help you do this also. So we're just the beginnings of what we might call a seated spinal twist. Okay, so this is option one. So if you're avoiding flexing or bending your low back, this is a perfect place to be. The left hand can also walk down to the calf or the outer edge of the foot. The right hand can reach away from the right ear, relaxing the neck. And using the hand holds, or with a strap, right? All your hand holds. Give yourself just enough of a kind of a little pooling action so you can soften open through the solar plexus. So the little check that we can do for ourselves is breathing into the solar plexus. And you're feeling for that lengthening and that softening through the diaphragm area. And we'll let the right hand down. Relax the head down, release, unwind. We'll come upright. We'll set the left leg out. We'll fold the right foot in front of the pelvis. So as a first move, I might right hand hook left thigh. And I'll just start a twist to my left. I'm keeping the neck decidedly untwisty. So just letting there be some relaxed, soft qualities through the neck. Option 2, right hand to outer calf. As I start to work my way toward down the leg, my left hand becomes freed up from the ground. This is where I start to reach, find a little bit of a neck release. Or the hand can grab the outer edge foot. And then bringing your breath into the front of the diaphragm. I imagine this is an area where a lot of us will tend to kind of buckle, and the movement in the here will get dampened, kind of muffled. We don't want to muffle our diaphragm. So feel breath reaching that front of solar plexus. And release. Inhaling, unwind. Let's lie on back. We're going to do frog and we'll see what else. So lying on back, we'll separate the feet and the knees widely apart. And bring the knees, instead of over the belly, more in line with the pelvis. It's kind of on this plane, like a windshield. Inhale the head and the shoulder blades up. So there's a little abdominal pressure, and I can direct that abdominal pressure to move my low spine to the ground. And now exhale. So we're training to find, to feel, to activate all the muscles of the front and the side of the abdomen to shape, to wisely shape our low back. So we're wisely training the abdomen, inhaling into the perineum and the genitals, all those muscles at the bottom of the pelvis. And then exhale. And start to feel all those muscles, how they link up and move the low back or make stable the low back. Inhale. And then exhaling, the tailbone shifts, legs outreach, draw, gather the belly muscles, sink them in. It's not a fast, I'm not doing like a hole punch, pop up, but draw, gather, sink. I'm still sinking my bellies in even as I'm talking. Inhale is relaxing the abdomen. And then exhale. Gather, gather, gather. I'm still gathering as I'm saying gather. Pull it a little further. Inhale. All right, let's do about 5 more. Please, continue. Inhabiting the abdominal space and the muscles. It's such a fascinating study of, stay, remain. Can you feel the softening of the abdomen as you inhale and inhale and inhale? Can you feel the directionality of gather, how all those muscles start to move, gather, gather? Can you feel when you draw the belly down where that originates, how deeply the in draw is, how the excursion of that up draw. So it's staying in tune and in touch with all of those fluctuations of the abdomen and the organs. I get very interested when I start to recognize jumpy inhabiting. You know, it's like a turnstile, in, out. So we're learning this inhabiting the body. It's not just about visiting, it's visiting, inhabiting, staying, living. Right? Yeah, I visited the body once. It was really cool. There's this enduring contact, this enduring staying with, helps us contact our deep bodily wisdom. Let's do one more. We've been doing some straddle things this week, and we should just continue the party. So we'll do straddle lifting through. The sacrum is on the ground. The low back is on the ground. To separate the legs with respect to the sacrum and the pelvic bones. Inhale, the head, shoulder blades up. If you can feel breath reaching the muscles at the perineum, at the genital anus, the root, and then exhale. Can you feel that slight in-draw from the pelvic floor? Can you feel the abdomen muscles around the pubic bone moving? And as you stretch the legs out, all these muscles working in symphony. You might start to feel a little draw, a little tug. Draw, pull the low belly in even further. And then inhale. Exhale. And we're relaxing the jaw. So we're working with the hips and the pelvis. Pull low belly down. Inhale into the pelvis, the space of the pelvis. As we breathe there, as we feel there, we inhabit there, at least for that moment. Possibly longer. Exhale and reaching. Pull, draw the belly. It's a probing pull, right? What do I find? I pull. What am I feeling? Let's keep going. Let's do at least 3 more. Your pace. Feel if the tongue is doing some kind of pushy, pokey things in the mouth, relaxing the tongue. Feel if the jaw is firming or skewing to one side, and then relax the jaw. Notice if your lips are twisting this way or that way, relax the lips and the cheeks. And then after those few, help legs together, setting the head down. We have a really sweet rain. That's nice. All right, we're going to set up half Virasana. So things I imagine we'll want, blocks, adequate blocking. And then if you need anything special for your knee or your foot, just have that nearby. So the feet hip width apart. And exhaling, the pelvis kind of shifts such that my low back is lengthy as I enter up into bridge. Now it's possible that as we're moving the foot against the ground, it's possible we encounter all sorts of kind of little blocks, foot cramps and, joints and there's all sorts of things, right? So we just take it in the way that we can work it. What might be workable is the right hand just drawing this foot back. And then we just have to get creative about how we're reaching through that leg to bring a little more feeling circulation through the right side of the pelvis. So, yes, draw the foot back, but don't just stop there. Some of the point of partial moves is just to get us in the neighborhood of these areas of body and to still be able to feel our breath there, feel the respiration, the sensations, the tone of the area as we're listening to all these sensations and even emotions and chemistry washes and breath washes. All of that listening is like training ground for hearing those deeper communications of the body teacher. So learn not just how to make something feel tight like a stretch, but learn how to use the sensation to draw our feeling awareness even more deeply into the cells and the bones and the organs and the glands. So with this right foot in half Virasana, you can remain right here, perfect Perfect option. Another option is raising the left leg. This does mean your weight goes onto the blocks. Right, one more option exists for us today, is bending the left knee and using the left ankle atop your right Virasana thigh. So unlocking the hip in half Virasana. Let the breath be part of that communication system between body and, we'll say, student. So if the mind is the communicator, oh, this is tight, this is too long, I'm going to squeeze harder, I wonder why this is like this. The mind has a very certain kind of a communication, like the verbal, the linguistic part of us. And we're like journalists. We want to get right to the primary resource and hear directly from the body's mouth, the body's communication here. Now let's start to switch sides. So we'll take the left foot off, set it down. We'll take the right foot out from that Virasana, set it down. Give yourself a breath moment. There's no rush. If you need to reset your blocks, reset them. All right, left side half Virasana. So the left hand, draw the left foot. As you draw it back, if you're just holding it in a drawn back position, you'll have to figure out how to use the position you have, kind of draw the feeling circulation, these little feeling and breath pathways through the body. Another option is raising the right leg to the sky. And what if there was nothing to solve? What if we've just been mislabeling problems? What if there's nothing to solve and there's just places and areas and things to feel? Another option is bringing that right ankle atop the left thigh. So unlocking the hip. I'm going to come up with a better name for that for us. Sometimes the language we use makes presumptions, and I like a nice clean descriptor. All right, now's a good time. Let's set the right foot down. We'll release the left foot down. Out go the blocks. Down comes the spine. Nice thing about moving down to the ground slowly is you can feel with granularity the areas of the spine, the bones and the muscle. So some of you just may want to rehearse lowering from bridge down so you can check in with that back of diaphragm. Some of you have a little area in your back that you feel gets excited in shoulder stand or deep folds. So that could be a way of investigating. All right. Let's turn over. So you'll have to let me know in a one-on-one way. Occasionally, someone coming up, transitioning out of that lying down post-bridge position may feel a certain kind of pressure in their head. You'll have to let me know in a one-on-one way if that's you, because we may just have to remain lying for a little bit longer. We may have to do some rolling or a little bit of lying spinal twist before we upright our body. Depending on how we work with the pelvis and the spine, I can imagine, I'm not assigning causality, but I can imagine how if we had been subtly stretching the dura, the spinal cord, I could imagine how there would be a fluid goings-on around the head. I think it can be easily solved with just some patient thinking about it. All right, dolphins on the menu. Here we go. Exhale, come on in. the things I hope we can play with in dolphin. Having come right from bridge, where our hip area and our low back area was perhaps experiencing this deeper, elongative release. Could you translate that through your dolphin? Could you feel the low back? Just lengthening, just like in bridge. The abdomen, the diaphragm, the whole. I'm going to watch. There you go. I wonder if here, just like we were talking about in the very beginning of our practice, if this is one of those places where, unless we explicitly call ourselves to open through the diaphragm and the low back and the guts, if this isn't a common smush point. So we're going to unsmush our organs and then bring an incredible wash of breath to the interior of the low spine. All those big pelvic muscles have been reorienting and reconfiguring. So this next set of cues is if, only if, you're accepting weight through one shoulder at a time. If not, just keep both arms down, and we'll just let the cues just go on by. So I like to start by separating my feet to at least hip width. Not narrower, but at least hip width. We'll start with the right foot, drawing the right foot up. See if you can do that. Still lengthening through the low back. Yeah, we'll set the right foot down. Still lengthening through the lower spine, and we'll draw the left foot up. And we'll set the left foot down. So if your hands are open and apart, unclasped, we'll take the left hand away from the ground. So lengthening through the solar plexus. And set the left forearm down. And we'll take the right forearm away from the ground. All right, we'll set the right hand down, we'll set the knees down. Inhale, slide hands under shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. Triangle. Inhale the right foot forward. And just lift your right hand to the place where it needs to support ground, shin, block. And then spiraling through the ribs, of course through the abdomen. There can certainly be a spiralic kind of whole torso torsion, especially as I get this left leg involved. Drawing that left hip back. Lengthening the chest forward, the diaphragm. Lengthening the right ribs, the bottom ribs. Notice if these ribs are feeling lifted up away from your kneecap. You might feel those right ribs lengthening out over your kneecap. How much room can we give the diaphragm and the organs? Pyramid. Inhale, bring the left hand down. So I'm going to keep lengthening through the trunk. So instead of just drooping myself like a little wet daisy in the rain, make that little step. Now that same quality of opening through the core and opening through the diaphragm and opening through the guts and the trunk. They start to fold. So when I I can feel that diaphragmatic freedom. My belly and ribs touch my thigh, and my chest is still reaching out over that foot. Maybe that feels much different on the inside when we orient around our core rather than our spine or our muscles or our... All right, we're getting into it, folks. Left hand will remain on the ground. So this can be on the inside of your foot. I'm going to bring it to a block on the outside of my foot. For fun, right? We're all doing this for fun. Now, as you begin that push, lengthening again, the chest lengthens out over the foot, the sit bones, kind of lengthening the lower colon and intestines back, and the right hand reach up, revolve pyramid. Get really steady so that we can soften. Softening allows us to inhabit more deeply and more subtly. All right, inhale, unwind. Let's set the hands down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Sure, you could use cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Focusing on the sound and the feeling of your Ujjayi breath. We keep deepening that connection. The sound starts to change. The feeling tone of the breath in the body starts to change. All right, triangle. We got a few poses. Inhale the left foot forward. You can just lift the left hand to the place. The place. My opinion, when we're involved in a twist, it's probably baked a little bit into our hardware and our software to engage the neck in a similar torsioning. And I'll encourage, just find ways to feel the softness of the neck. Now, what I'm not saying is, I'm not saying make your neck go limp. That may actually be worse. But find ways of feeling that the neck is, I think of like those water lilies. And they just have that, they're just atop the water, just wiggling and dancing in water. Little water lily neck. Still has lots of form. But we don't have to make neck twist crank. I just want to take the crank off of that cervical neck area. Yeah, feel the left side ribs if they're kind of arching away from your thigh. As they lengthen, they'll get a little closer to your thigh. Can you feel that left side ribs? There you go, there you go. It'll feel softer maybe on that left side diaphragm, solar plexus. All right, so taking this lengthy torso shape, we're going to start to make a little turn toward pyramid. So as we inhale, we'll bring this right hand down. Keep lengthening through the trunk. We have to wiggle that right foot in and forward. Keep lengthening through the diaphragm. So by the time I turn, my torso's reaching all the directions toward the head, toward the butt. And as I lengthen, to find that, there's that little hip crease. All right, let's get revolved. Right hand sets up on the ground. I'm going outside foot, block. Inhale, lengthening the trunk, the chest out over your foot, raising the left arm. So as we hold that right amount of tension, you can feel the tone of the nervous system. I think this is such an incredible facet to twists, that by working the pose just so, that torsion, that length, that just right, you can start to feel with your breath the tone, clarity, the smoothness, the high RPM, the low RPM of your nervous system, or at least that's a substrate, a sliver of flavor that I pick out. To me, the nervous system has a kind of a hum. And inhale, bring hands under shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. You have to use your butt muscles to support your spine. Exhale, downward dog. All right, legs, we still need you. So the legs, they kind of heel, emphasize, and hamstrings, the back of the thighs, let them kind of tension, pulley, the sit bones, the pelvis back, lengthen through the low back, lengthen through the intestines, right under the diaphragm. Then, as you connect to that wonderful deep breath, feel how that starts to live and move beneath the heart. Press the knees down. Let's straighten the right leg in front. And we're right back where we started. We're going to go like 5-ish over. Okay. This time around, if the leg and the hip and the knee have gotten warmer, maybe half lotus. If a no-go, leg on ground. I'm using my strap to loop all around my left bent leg. So my loop is going around the shin and the thigh. This is for my right hand. Sure. And then the left hand reaches for the leg or the foot. And if you've got that long enough, that just long enough strap, it's possible you can use that long tail end to create a kind of a handhold as it wraps around the foot. All right. So my right hand now has the loop, and it can help open up the chest to the right. Inhaling, the guts and the diaphragm lengthen away from the pelvis. Exhaling, find a way where that water lily neck can just find a quality of softness, not limpness, but softness. The neck lives in water. Maybe this time around, maybe we start to fold a little further in. Vibrant inner right leg line. As the nervous system softens, often the pose starts to open and deepen. To me, that nervous system hum or rev that I pick up on, and we can release this side, is a strong correspondence with the controller part of my person. We'll switch sides. Right? The part of me that's like, should I let that happen? Should I go there? Right. We all have one. All right. So I'm choosing, what's this? Half lotus. If it's not one of your greatest hits, just put the leg on the floor. The loop is for the left hand to connect to your right shin. The loop is for the left hand to connect behind the back to the right shin. The right hand can start to walk down the left leg. Right hand, left leg. So we're twisting and folding to our left. We're twisting to our left and folding. Let your fold augment the spaciousness through your core. Not just the push ability or force ability or smush ability of your tissues. Let your fold help augment the space, the felt sense of space in your core. And release. And that's, as they say, a wrap. Let's unwind. Let's lie back. And talk to our nervous system, talk to our spine, talk to our tissues for a moment. Or more correctly, let them talk to us. We're just letting ourselves learn our body's wisdom language. say language, we might think words, but it's, right, our body has its own kind of language. It sure can speak through memory or the language in memory, sure. And speaks through sensation, inertia, momentum, shearing, pulsing, vibrating, the spontaneous organization of those movements. Sometimes as the body is communicating in and throughout itself, which is one of the beautiful things about the fascia. It's this great web network of communication, instantaneous communication. Sometimes we can feel the unraveling or almost a quality of spinning or turning. Enjoy. All right. So let's bend knees. And as always, you can remain as long as you need to or like. And then we'll turn to a side and use both hands so that as you press, you can actually press and move up using feeling that softness. Here we are. Namaste.